Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I apologize deeply for being so late on this stream. Quite a hectic day, but we make it. We're here. And we will ball here in ECL around the beautiful circuit of Misano as we have one driver already diving into the pits. That is Ibuprofen Pain. But in the leading pack, it is actually Techno, as per usual, leading this race, and he is battling away with, I believe that is James Wrigley, who are our two championship protagonists. So it's actually quite an interesting race we got going on here. As I do have, well, I should have a co-commentator, but I'm not sure we can quite hear him yet. But yeah, so I do deeply apologize for not being able to start the stream on time. But the leaders, our leaders actually qualified on pole. So Techno putting it P1, James P2, as they go side by side now through this section, banging doors, you might even say, as they head down onto this very long back straight. It's multiple apex corner. For the loyal VCL watchers, you would recognize this track from the GT4 series. So finally coming full circle as Techno makes an overtake. Oh, but they get a little bit squirrely as they head now into the hairpin and getting very physical with each other through these corners. But it looks like Techno is going to make the move around the outside. Is he going to make it stick? No, James comes back down the inside. And it looks like James is going to retain his position for this lap. Oh, but he catches a little bit of a bump, and Techno is going to get the overspeed on him as they go into turn one. I'm not really sure what lap this is. The standings tower isn't giving us that information quite yet, but I do believe it is very early in the race as these drivers are really pushing each other. Techno goes defensive down the inside of the corner. James looks to swing it around the outside. He's not quite able to get it. And as these leaders are battling, they're actually letting the likes of Webblue catch onto the back of them. So they will be hoping not to battle too much, as we are still pretty early in this race. We've got quite a long way to go. Normally we've seen the trend of the race leaders just kind of getting into a groove and pulling away, but right now these drivers are just gloves off as they are involved in a championship battle. So here again on this back straight, the two drivers on medium compounds. As we look to the back there, looks like this AM driver is doing quite well to keep a train of cars behind him. It's about 2 seconds back from our leaders. He has whack all over the back of him. One of the few Porsche drivers we have in this series, but he's doing quite well so far. Drivers would really be looking to settle as James and Techno go side by side, as Webblue seems to have dove into the pits now. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out. Early pit stops always give us a pretty good marker and indication of what strategy is best, as Techno and James go side by side into turn one. Oh, James has the overspeed, but Techno kind of gives him a little bit of a nudge, and that pushes him wide, and I think forces him into a CC slowdown. So go ahead and look at James. I'm not sure where his name is here on this list, but thrilling stuff nonetheless. These two drivers are very much engaged in a tight battle, not only on track but also in the points tally at the top of the table, especially with some of the drop points rules being put into effect. These drivers have missed a few races, but still puts them right in contention due to the fact that they can kind of make it up by their two worst results being omitted. But regardless, we have Techno very much at the front of this pack. Behind him is James Rigby, and behind them is Soup and the Pig, Just Maxi, and Epic Lexer are all back there in the mid pack. So the race is just a bit stretched out right now. So is the trend typically around Monza. Oh, I lied. Oh, as Yep, we see here quite a bit of action there as we go on spectate Maxi as he now dives into the pits, and he sends the two Porsche drivers, I believe that was the 22 car, on their own now. So they will be looking to push to gain as much of an advantage as they can on this BMW. Porsche idiots, he says on the radio. So he hits his markers quite well, gets out, but oh, it's not looking like he's going to gain much time on that Ferrari. See where they come out relative to the other drivers as Webley now comes down the main straight. He is through turn one, and Masano, quite the long pit exit here as you spend a lot of your time going through the barrier section. So those drivers are now coming out. Webley has a time advantage, so it looks like Webley did have quite the advantage on them earlier in the race. It looks like the undercut just might be the move, as it usually is with tires and tire warm-ups. Once you factor all that in, it does usually kind of balance out to work that way. So Techno and James will definitely be on the lookout for that, as they haven't been really doing each other much favors as they are continuing to battle. I'm sorry, around here at Masano. Masano, not necessarily known for the most entertaining races, but still, of course, a very important race for them in this championship battle. This is, of course, race one here, so we will reset the order and do it all over again as Techno and James now come into the pit. So it's going to be very interesting to see where they come out, especially given that Webley will have his tires already fired up. So currently they are on the medium compound, so they will have to go to the softs, as you do have to take two different compounds. It looks like, oh, there's a Ferrari having a real bad pit stop back there, but looks like Techno gets out well, and oh, he loses a little bit of time to James as they are now side by side going through this pits. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top, but of course, while we're watching this, it's going to be interesting to see where Webley is, and Webley, he comes out directly behind them. So now these drivers on cold tires are going to have to really try to defend, but Webley, with tires already fired up, the undercut seems to have paid off, and he's got the track position. He's exactly where he wants to be, but he's just not able to get past him. That's the challenge here in VCL. You might be able to catch your opponents, but can you pass them? Now it looks like Webley is going to set up to go around the outside. Techno makes a very late move to defend it. And it looks like those drivers, I mean, either they've gotten their tires very fired up, or maybe they're not having such the struggle as we thought they might have, as Webley is still just stuck behind them, weaving a little bit, but he'll now look to pick up the toe. So Webley going around the outside of James. Techno saying something on the radio. We haven't quite gotten the transmission yet of exactly what he said, but they're three wide now into this hairpin, this heavy braking zone. I'm not really sure what's going on. It looks like Techno didn't get the best exit, and now it's him and James, and it looks like Webley is falling behind a little bit. So it's as you were before. Webley's definitely put himself in a better position than he was before. But while we were getting all wrapped up in this, we can't forget that now an AM driver is leading here at Masano. Now, of course, like I said earlier, really don't know what lap it is. However, if he masters the strategy and if he gets it right, then okay. If he gets the strategy right, then he might even be able to secure a win, as he does have quite the advantage, but it'll be very dependent on what his pace is looking like. As we look now back to our net race leaders, Techno and James, very much being themselves, not giving a bit of an inch to the other person, and really pushing it. It looks like now Webley is under pressure from Super. He's under some pressure from Super Blackman, and Super Black is right on the tail of him now, so he'll be looking to use those superpowers and overtake Webley. Webley seems to go defensive, or maybe he's picking up a slipstream from the leaders ahead of him. Now he's just a tap of the brakes into this corner, and now fully on the brakes for this hairpin is holy. some crazy ping from the Romanian Techno. And oh, James goes very wide. Weblu is now under some pressure from Super Blackman. Super Blackman goes down the inside, and it looks like James is going to follow him through there. So the drivers are all now 3 wide, and like I said, as they go through all this battling, they've actually let all the other drivers behind them pass. So Rab has actually pitted, and he now gives the advantage back to the drivers. So all drivers have pitted now, at least to my understanding, and there's a very intense battle here for P2. Currently, James Rigby is on top, but Weblu with a very good strategy, but of course slightly more tire wear, is going to have to probably push a little bit harder, or it's a little bit of a more difficult task for him to get through on these guys and the others. So see exactly how it shapes up. Is now the drivers are banging doors. Super Blackman is banging with Pig as wow. Yeah, this battle stretches all the way down from P2 down to, I believe, P8. So this is a very intense battle for the 2 podium spots. And the 2 remaining ones. It looks like Techno now is just kind of driving away a little bit, and everyone else seems to be pretty much non-factor. There's a few drivers go off there, and oh no, Weblu seems to be having a tough time there. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but it looks like there was an incident there that pretty much sent Weblu spinning at the back. We won't have any safety car for that, of course, as all the drivers are now up and running. But just a little bit of a disappointment. So, your order is now Techno, James Rigby, Super Blackman, Whack, Just Maxi, Pig, and Rab. Weblu and ASM and Lewis rounds out your top 10 here, and leading the AM class is Rab, ASM, and Lewis. So, the bottom 3 drivers of our top 10, bar Weblu, who is, of course, having a difficult time. And with that topic in mind, let's go ahead and look at a replay of what happened. So we see that, okay, Weblu is tucked up right behind James, and ooh, yeah, it just looks like some ping issues, and one driver goes off, another driver makes contact, and yeah. So of course, as a part of online racing, there is always going to be connection issues, and it looks like that was just kind of taking the cake there. These drivers were very much pushing. So Super Blackman seems to be pretty nailed in for a P3 if he can defend against Whack, as all the other drivers have seemingly dropped off the back of them. He'll probably want to use whatever he's got to defend now and push to maintain this advantage that he had. But it looks like now Just Maxi is tagging along to the back of these 2 drivers. Super Blackman goes quite wide there, giving up a little bit of time, and he goes wide again. So we are now on the final lap. Techno doing very well to avoid all the carnage and maintain a lead. James Rigby doing just about the same. And now Super Blackman is going to have to defend this final podium position. They head now into what I believe is turn 4. A very difficult section, and it looks like Whack is going to send it down the inside. Super Blackman did not see that coming. Now he's going to have to hope for a good run, but he actually gets a horrible exit, and he's now susceptible to Maxi, who is right on the tail. So the 2 BMW drivers ganging up against this Ferrari. Just Maxi seems to set up to go down the inside, and he does, and it looks like he's going to get the moves to stick as he follows through his BMW teammate. So now Maxi is putting himself in a prime position to take it to his teammate Whack, as it looks like some team tactics are going on here, as now he just slows down as he now slows down Super Blackman, and Super Blackman is going to try and tow off of him down through this hairpin on the back string. But for now, we'll look towards our leader, Techno player, who's done a very good race. Put it on pole for qualifying, and he's completed a however many lap race to show off a pretty dominant performance here at Misano. Techno is your winner here. Behind him is James Rigby, who does well for a P2. And we'll go back to this battle to see, and it does look like the two BMW drivers just pipped Super Blackman. And with that being said, the following order is as follows. We have Pig, Rab, Just Maxi, who actually seem to have had a pretty poor final lap, and Super Blackman. Jesus Christ, what the heck happened to those guys? ASM, Weblu, and Lewis round out your top 10. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for this first race at Misano. We will have a second race as well. Same order, same thing, right over again. And yeah, we'll go ahead and see how that pans out. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for this second race here in Misano. We will be going quite shortly as the drivers are just now concluding their formation laps. And yeah, Techno, of course, put it on pole in the qualifying session. Actually took it lights to flag in the race. Didn't lead every lap, however, he was on pole. He did win, so he led when it mattered. That's really all that's important. So drivers now will get onto the walls and try and get the last bit of heat from their tires. I'm gonna go ahead and get ready for this race to start. Go ahead and look at the calendar then for a moment while we have a second. Currently at round 7 in Misano, and the next race in Spa should be a very exciting Grand Prix. Spa, very iconic circuit, quite a bit of elevation, just very entertaining overall. So it should be a very interesting GP, and as we do round out this season, we will go to Spa, Hockenheim, and that will conclude our European tour. And we will finish in Asia as we hit Qatar, Losail, Shanghai, China, and we finally have our concluding round in Fuji. So the drivers are now on the grid, and we made it just back in time for the lights. There are 5 lights on the grid, and the drivers are away at Misano. Techno seems to have gotten a very good reaction over James Wrigley, and he will be looking now to close out on the inside, which he does. He defends very well, but he actually leaves himself susceptible through the second part of the chicane, and he is susceptible as James now takes the lead as they go into turn 4 now. James seeming to not really defend, and he is absolutely wiped by the 14 car in the other Sky Tempesta Ferrari. Not entirely sure what was going on there. Some very interesting strategies there. I do believe that he will have a penalty coming his way. As, my God, some very interesting driving standards there as he forces Techno all the way to the inside. Techno will definitely be taking his gloves off as he forces him quite far to the outside as well. As now they are literally, driving like children essentially, as Techno and the 14 car were just pushing each other the whole way through, and now the 14 gets a slowdown. So Techno won't have to worry about him for at least a little bit, as now he's right on the back of him is, I believe, the 21 car of Pigeon, the other Porsche. He's trying his best to make it down the inside through this long back straight, and oh my God, a last minute send from the number 3 BMW. What is going on here? All the drivers are giving it everything they have, as now Techno is put far off the track by a, oh my God, sketchy moves everywhere you look. It is absolutely, dare I say, insanely unsportsmanlike driving. Because what is that? But James Rigby leads. We're going to go ahead and look at a replay of what just happened. Techno was pretty much minding his business and just got absolutely swiped into by the Porsche. Porsche rejoined unsafely and then went spewing off on his own. So yeah, very interesting driving standards, as now James is in the prime position, not only for this race, but also for the championship. So he is 1 second ahead of Super Blackman, and all the way down in P12, Techno, his nearest championship rivals. So he will be taking full advantage, and he will be looking to, sorry guys, Enzo Fernandez just scored from Chelsea. We don't even have a manager, but how we manage that one against Man City in the 93rd minute. So after that little soccer break, we will look at Super Blackman, who is defending yet again from the pig. He's shaping up a move on him into this on the back straight. Will he make the send? Doesn't look like he will, but it looks like, man, the number 3 car of Just Maxi, that BMW, is absolutely going for it. Again, just peeking ever so slightly to see what he can pick out, but Nothing doing there. Holy, what a nutmeg by Malo Gusto. What a pass as well, man. Bumbleclad. What an ugly goal. Anyways, guys, Super Black Man defending yet again from Maxi. They're going 3 wide, 4 wide almost. As Kofiak of all people is now in the mix. Expect a dive bomb. Just about. A little bit of something worse if I'm honest. But these drivers are all giving it everything. On lap 3 here at Misano, it looks like Super Black Man has managed to defend just well enough to maintain his P2. As those drivers just behind him are single file for the moment, but I'm sure they will be gunning for it yet again. And we'll look to Techno to see if he's advanced. Yeah, he's actually made up 8 places since last we checked, and he is only 4 seconds off the lead, so nothing too bad, nothing too crazy. He's definitely still within range. It's just a matter of will he be able to make up all that ground that he has lost. Realistically, no, but we've seen miracles before. It wouldn't be surprising, especially in this league. So we'll look back now at our battling pack in the battle for P2. All these drivers are giving it absolutely everything. I mean, it's very rare you see any drivers in this league give up a margin, and definitely, oh man, I'm retarded. Battle for P2, guys. It's for P2. Holy, I can't type, bro. Anyways, guys, it's an absolutely enthralling race so far. Looks like Kofiak, the AM driver, he's actually driven in this league quite a lot to still be an AM driver, but I think that tells you everything you need to know. He is absolutely peak cinema. Sends, doesn't back down. One of my favorite drivers in the league, purely just for his mentality. And we will be very interested to see if he's able to maintain this P3 as he actually, immediately as I say that, goes off wide and now puts himself in jeopardy of losing this P4. But he is in the lead for the AM class. Behind him is Lewis Hamilton. Yes, the F1 driver. We let him drive in this league every now and then. We kind of feel bad, that he's old and he drives for Ferrari. So we're just like, hey man, take this McLaren, drive in this Roblox league. Don't kill yourself, bro. We love you, and I think it keeps him happy, So he's battling in the AM class, and behind him is ASM, who is, oh wow, in this beautiful Red Bull. In this beautiful Red Bull Ferrari, which looks very good. And those guys are battling it out, but we'll go ahead and look further ahead. We'll look at Techno now, see how he's making his way, and wow, he's making his way very well, as he is now up into P6, I think. Yeah, we'll find out as soon as the drivers cross the line. James still with a very, very good lead. If he gets the strategy right, I don't see anyone challenging him. And now, wow, Techno up into P5 and doing very well. Oh no, but yep, there it goes, right into the back of Kofiak. And yeah, the league's most cinematic driver, taking very well after his name, I must say. Holy. So yeah, a little bit of shenanigans, but that's what we're here for, right? Kofiak is now sizing up Techno. Looks like he's going to try and toe off of him. These guys are moving way more than once on the straight, by the way. I do believe Kofiak's going to make a stand, but he does it. Techno actually just runs into the back of Super Black Man, and that actually sells him. Guys, driving into the back of someone is not the fastest way around them, I promise you. Callum McFarlane has just drawn 1-1 with Pep Guardiola with no training or any time to really train his players. He just tied with probably the greatest coach in all of history. Callum McFarlane is the second coming of Jesus as we watch. I don't even know how that guy is up this far. IB. He just got pitted a little bit. But Weblu, oh my god, not Weblu, Techno, and holy, Kofiak just absolutely bowling pins everyone out of the way. It is absolute chaos here. Guys, the football world is on fire. Masano is on fire. I feel like I'm on fire. This is insane. And I think, for the first time in VCL history, it looks like Kofiak, the AM driver. Nope, never mind. I lied. Okay, what the heck? He's P4, but hey man, he's pushing. Techno is trying his best to recover, but man, these guys are not giving an inch. This is actually kind of amazing. Kvyat has somehow pulled away for about 3 seconds. The only Aventador driver in this league, by the way. That tells you a lot about his personality. But Techno goes very wide and he loses a whole bunch of time. I do believe now he's fallen down maybe even as far as 11 in this order. But we'll look back to the guys who are actually keeping their car on the track is Kvyat. What in the world, dude? Kvyat and ASM are leading this pack, the two AM drivers with a collective IQ of maybe 5. Maybe 5. They are now leading this race. I'm sorry, guys. I shouldn't be roasting on these drivers like this. They are actually amazing. As I just watched IB, never heard of him before, push Kvyat fully out of the way. And now ASM in that beautiful Red Bull Ferrari is taking the lead of this pack. Kvyat seems to hit an invisible bump. I don't even know what's about to happen. We'll see as they're now on the back straight, tapping the brakes, heavy on the brakes. That guy's gone fully off the track. IB, never heard of him, but once again, he takes the lead of this pack at least. And this is playing beautifully into the hands of... Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Pigeon is actually leading this race somehow. And it looks like James Rigby... What? What happened to him? Crazy. So another twist in the another twist in the tail as crazy Freudian slip. As yeah. Oh my god, and it's nighttime. Ooh, nice. So cooler track temperatures, it should be, you know, play out a little bit interesting. But like we saw in last race, you know, while the undercut does give you position, that tire wear is really going to affect you, and really, you may actually lose track position as a result. So we'll see how these drivers fare as a result of that, and how the strategy pans out, as Pigeon is really in this lead. But if my conclusions are correct, he may be very susceptible to this pack we've had battle. This may turn into a battle for the lead, but there's only one way to find out. We gotta watch it unfold, ladies and gentlemen, so please stay here, stay tuned with us, as we are going to take you all the way to the end of this Misano GP. You look back at Techno as he's in this pack now, a little bit behind Weblu. So he takes a very audacious inside line, maybe to try to throw off the drivers, but really doesn't work. He actually goes extremely wide and puts himself right into the mercy of Wack, who, as you know, is not a driver to give up any margin. Kvyat is somehow P3 in this race, and behind him is ASM. So it looks like these drivers are really, really going for it. As I would like to say James pitted. I know he started on softs, but I don't know why he's all the way down in P13, because that should not put you that low in the order. It's like, I lied. Maybe it does, because, yeah. Okay. Alright. So James pitted pretty early. I didn't see that coming. But all the other drivers are now on lap 4. Kvyat puts on the hard tires. I swear, bro, he's not the brightest guy, but, you know, we love him regardless. With 4 laps to go, I'm sorry. Kvyat puts on the medium tires. I can't really see anything. I'm just looking at lights. I think that's Kvyat back there doing something insane. Yeah, Techno, who's the 59 car? Guys, this is what racing's all about, right? Making new friends, meeting new people. Exactly what's happening here at Misano, man. Techno is pushing very hard, trying to make his way back. Still hasn't pitted. Probably will pit this lap, for honest. He's racing against some guy I've never seen. I'm pretty sure that guy's like a lap down because it says he's 15 seconds back, but he's up here. This is awesome, you know? And ibuprofen. Ibuprofen is leaving. Nope, he's not anymore. Super Black Man is leading, even though on the leaderboard it says he's P10. That's just how enthralling this racing here is in VCL, guys. It's awesome. So we'll see what they do as they're on the back straight now. Everybody's getting on the brakes, and wow, ibuprofen, sorry, is actually making a send down the inside, but I'm pretty sure all these guys are gonna pit. Wow, none of them pit. None of them pit. Okay, so not entirely sure what strategy is going on here. Um, but yeah, these drivers are just, I mean, they're giving it absolutely everything. They're giving it full beans, guys. And it looks like Super Black Man is about to swoop into the lead. What? James Rigby leading? Dog, what? What did I miss? I am so confused. I'm gonna watch the stream back. I swear I did not see all these guys pit. Maybe I'm tripping. But it's James versus Pigeon for the lead. I'm so confused, dude. When did Techno pit? Oh my god. Okay. James is pushing. He is racing Pigeon. Um, but yeah, James, I mean, he really needs to win this race to put up the most advantage, to put up the most points against Techno, as Techno did just win the race earlier. So who knows what he will do against Pigeon, as it seems like he's just a little bit off his racing line through that corner. He goes a little bit wide. Oh man, I gotta look at that now. It looks like this pack, the battle for the final podium spot, is heating up as ever. Techno is now really done a good job to recover, I must admit. But he is up to P4 now. P4, and he's battling with them for potentially P3. So it's three of them battling there. And then behind them, Weblu is engaging this battle with number 59 car, Neon. Oh yeah, I know that guy, Neon City. And then behind them, oh, Club Legend Epic Lexer. It would be lovely jubbly if I could spectate him, but I can't. So we'll look at Kafiak. And he's leading that pack back there. And leading the AM Classic. I'm pretty confident somebody just died, but I can't tell. So we'll look back to our race leaders. James is doing, yet again, a very good job to lead this race. He's quite the experienced driver, not only here, but in a few different series, and he'll be wanting to do his best to kind of just play it safe, Of course, there's not really too much time to lose at this stage, but won't want to do anything stupid with Pigeon, so he'll just make a casual little send down the inside, holds a very nice line, and takes the lead from Pigeon on the medium compound tire, so he will have a tire advantage towards the end. His tires will be in better shape than the Porsche driver. But it would be nice to see a Porsche driver win. I mean, we haven't seen much of them on this grid. I think maybe they've won once. So it'll be interesting if they can. Oh god. Okay. So these drivers are yet again going for it. The track is so dark, I really don't know what corner we're looking at right now. Oh yeah, I know where we are. Cool. So yeah, James is just absolutely going for it. Looks like he's going to pick up a really nice toe here against the Pigeon. Oh wow. A little look to the outside. Oh my god. Then there's a dead car on the track. I definitely think that should be a full course yellow, but there's always been some questionable stewarding in this league. So James now is just going to go a little bit wide. He looks now to, he looks now to get at the toe, but Pigeon, I mean, immediately just goes to weaving, which also should be illegal, but, what can you do? James looks to the outside, Pigeon defends well, but now this is the real part that matters, the braking zone here. James looks like he's setting up a dive to the inside. Pigeon reads it, and he actually reads it incorrectly as James faked it, and he is now along the outside of the Porsche driver. So we now cascade into the final lap of this race. It's going to be very interesting to see who will take this win. Will it be the Porsche driver who is currently engaging in some pretty sketchy and unscrupulous tactics to maintain the lead as he weaves down the main straight? James is tucked up behind him. They are pushing neck and neck to see who can really take advantage and get the overtake. So James now very much on the back of him. Pigeon will be looking to defend as well as he can onto this main straight, so he'll look for a good exit. Doesn't get the ideal one, but yet again, he immediately goes to weaving, which, if I read the steward's book correctly, is illegal. But he made one move this time, so it seems like he will be within the laws of the game now. Uh, Dead car. Not sure why that's there. Stewards. Guys, please. Pigeon goes down the inside. James looks to get the switchback, but Pigeon perfectly parks it on the apex. But yet again, James is tucked up right behind him, and he will look to pick up a slipstream. He is all over the back of the Porsche now, so it's going to be purely up to IQ and driving ability for Pigeon to defend this lead as we're on the final lap and in the final corners of this GP. They tap the brakes. James does a little bit more than Pigeon, and Pigeon goes to the inside very last minute. But James looks like he's trying to set up a switchback, but yet again, Pigeon defends absolutely perfectly. Lovely stuff that you want to see. So James will have one final opportunity into the final corner. I don't think that's something you want to do, and he doesn't. As it's a very high-speed corner, but he gets an amazing exit. Well, what the heck? He gets a crazy exit, and Pigeon makes the foolish mistake of trying to weave yet again and gifts the win to James. So his undoing was himself. Techno now will cross the line in P4, so that has huge implications, for the championship. So we now look to Epic Lecter and Trident, who will wrap up our finishers today. And a very entertaining race there, especially at the end with some of the racing between our drivers, but there was no man who was a match for James. Actually, that's a lie. Pigeon and James gave us absolutely entertaining race, but it can only be won by one, and it was won by the man James. So a very good race by both of the drivers to keep it not only clean but also to keep it close, keep it tight, you know. So yeah. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure that we will now go to our podium ceremony at night here. So let's see if I can find this thing. Yes, we have our very illustrious podium, the place everyone wants to be. So for round 7 in VCL, your top 3 will be coming out shortly. Looks like these guys are really taking their sweet time with getting onto the podium. I'm not worried about it. I guess we're not doing a podium, man. I don't know what the heck is going on. But irregardless, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all for joining us for this race here at Misano. It was very much an entertaining race. I'm not feeling the best, so I do apologize if you could notice that. But thank you so much for joining us here regardless. I hope you all have a beautiful, absolutely wonderful evening, afternoon, night. And with that being said, I am the King Kong Dude. This is in VCL round 7 at Misano. I can't find my mouse because I'm really trying to close this thing out, bro. Holy, what a day. Thank you so much for joining us. With that being said, thank you and good night.